Hello and welcome to Flippin' Through, the internet's #1 Mad Magazine news, review, and interview channel. And today we're flipping through Mad Magazine number 211, released December 1979. Our price, 75 cents, which is indeed cheap. But before we do that, please let me remind you to hit like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment down below. That's the #1 way to support this YouTube channel and help it grow. I can't do it without your help. So please, if you're watching for the first time or the 50th, make sure that you have and still are subscribed. If you want to support me in another way, patreon.com/flippinthrough. Link is down in the description. You can check that out. I got stuff. I give you stuff if you support me. And support me if you think it's worth anything more than a like, a comment, and a subscription. Here are the people I get to thank for their support today. Ben Forsgren, Joey Gesso, Reflection of Perfection, Nisimo, Tom Richmond, David Strickler, Megan McInerney, Bobby Weigel, Cam Hayden, Rob Wilson, Rod Mead Sperry, Andrew Goldfarb, Casey Ori, and Little Cozy Nostril. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope I can keep on earning it. With that, let's go to this. Mad Magazine number 211. Now, a few things about this cover. Norman Mingo did the art for it. That's pretty apparent by the style. But in case you didn't know, he signs it. And I mentioned this a while back about his signature after a certain point. I don't know when he changed it, but you'll notice he incorporates the Norman Mingo normal signature and then a little fish. I commented on that a while ago, wondering about it, because I know that is the Jesus fish. It's like a Christian symbol. And turns out, a commenter pointed this out, Norman Mingo became Christian, and he wanted to express that. And so he started incorporating the little Jesus fish into his signature. So that explains that change. And I forget who told me, but maybe I should look that up. All right, I found it. It was Hannes Thusbas. So thank you so much for letting me know about that. You might also be wondering about this. Look at the mad hand, the six-fingered hand. Exclusive spectrogram reveals no gasoline on Mars either. This is the time period where UPCs were new. They weren't just new, but they were a requirement for things being sold so that grocery stores could scan them. We take that for granted now, but this is not something that was Mad Magazine was used to, and they hated it. They hated having to put this on their cover. Why they never put it on the back cover, I don't know. Maybe there's a rule about that as well. But for a long time after they were forced to integrate that, they kept making jokes about it. So that is that right there. Here we have a house ad for the Mad Magazine board game. Beautiful artwork by Jack Davis. And the artwork on the board game, it's fantastic. Maybe I should make a video about it if I haven't already. Filled with amazing, amazing artwork. Here we have William Gaines, publisher, Albert Feldstein, editor. We have this little quote: "They really shouldn't ban playing in public schools. After all, that was the only way most of us got through." Alfred E. Neuman, the wit and wisdom. Now this looks like sort of an unassuming letters page, but that could not be farther from the truth. There is actually a celebrity sighting in this letters page right here. Meanwhile, back at the Klan, as both the director and star of Animal House, we would like to thank Mad Magazine for offending the Ku Klux Klan, Letters Department September 79. In your abominable house satire, it is an honor to be associated with any insult to the Klan. John Landis and John Belushi. Universal City Studios, Universal City, California. Two of the greats, right? Two of the greats. Let's keep moving on. Here we have The China Syndrome, drawn by Mort Drucker, written by Dick DiBartolo. The China Syndrome, starring Jane Fonda, old Hanoi Jane, Jack Lemmon, true patriot. He was in the film version of one of my favorite books. It was adapted to film. It was also a Broadway play, but this is not a musical. It's called Mr. Roberts. That book was amazing and very funny, and the movie was very funny as well. It's also starring Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas, The China Syndrome. The China Syndrome. Hello, I'm Michael Douglas. I produced the film The China Syndrome, and it's just anti-nuclear propaganda used to scare the American people into never supporting widespread adoption of nuclear energy. This has been Michael Douglas, looking kind of like Al Pacino in this movie, more than Michael Douglas. That's me, Michael Douglas. Anyway, that's my Michael Douglas impression. I've been working on that over the holidays. I hope your holiday was very nice. What's your favorite impression that I do? I do two of them. Here we have the Mad Ad Man's sampler. Okay, so for those of you who don't have a grandmother, the samplers were things for like cross stitching. You would get it, and it would be, you would make them, I guess, and it would just be like the alphabet and some designs. And then that way, if you wanted, well, you wouldn't really make, you would get a sampler, and then you would use the sampler as like a guide for making designs for your own thing. So you would have things like an alphabet, and then so you could spell out your nephew Greg's name. G-R-E-G. And this is the Ad Man sampler. A, one steak sauce. High C, fruit drink. There are things in these that are like very, I get it. Shake and bake, okay? And then there's things like this. Propa PH. I don't know what that is. Q-tips, I know what that is. Big G cereal, I'm guessing that's General Mills, Minnesota company. What is this one? Imagnin. I have no idea what it is. But anyway, so this is the ad sampler. This is artist and writer Henry Clark. Could you imagine? I guess he did this with like a typewriter or something. But could you imagine having to make this as an artist? What if you goofed up? You get like a third of the way through and you're like, oh shit, got to start over again. So in Mad Magazine, there was like, they kind of went through phases. And in the 70s, they would always throw in stuff, maybe even earlier too, but there was like this kind of time period where they would throw in things for, I sensed, little kids. So there would be, you know, stuff like this, which I think most people could appreciate. And then there was things like this, which are really, this, I think, target market is little kids. Sibling misery is being the youngest. This oldest gets the new stuff, and then look, it gets handed down to the youngest. Having a jock brother and the washing machine is busted. Stinky, stinky. Being the big brother of a wise ass. Yeah. Being the only brother of a beautiful sister. Oh, they're knocking down the door to, you know, take his sister out on a date. Having a 9:30 curfew while all the others get away with murder. That was me. My siblings, they got all the parenting, and then I kind of got to do whatever I wanted. So that's the nice part about being the youngest. When you're only a boy of 6, you're the only boy of 6 who's not an athlete. You know, I don't know. It's just like, it's fine. It's funny. But it's for, I think, the kids. This issue's proposed Mad medals to be presented to deserving medical workers. These were the, Al Jaffee would write and draw these, as you can see down at the bottom. And it's, I don't know, there's something that is always amazes me about these. The way that he makes them look, I mean, they're cartoons, I get that. I'm not being tricked into thinking they're photographs, but I'm always amazed at how good they look. And they don't look like, they're like in this weird spot in between a cartoon and like the photorealistic drawing. And it's perfect. It's utterly perfect because you get like, that looks, that's like debossed. Is that what that is? You have like the debossing or like things that are carved out. It's just really quite lovely. So we have the fetid food citation for bravely facing without fear the verbal wrath and physical abuse of hospital patients while courageously producing inedible food so patients won't overeat and get tummy aches. That's what happens to me a lot. The Silver Bedpan Award for ignoring the selfish screams of emergency patients while faithfully carrying out the vital job of filling out Blue Cross forms. As many of the patients will die, catering to their whims would be a waste of time anyway. Here we have the lighter side of guilt. If you want to read this, hit pause and show some appreciation for Dave Berg, the beloved Dave Berg, this patron saint of Mad Magazine. Here is early one morning, high in a treetop, and get used to this. There's like all these optical illusions here. This is one I don't really get, to be honest. Bird comes in, tries to feed this thing, spits out the bird, reaches in, pulls out another one. But wait, why is this one mad at that one? This one tried to eat his brother. Why is he feeling bashful about that? He should have squawked to Mummy. Now, I've been moving kind of fast through this. I should maybe slow down, but here's the thing. 1970s Mad are really strong. There's a lot of really awesome stuff in these issues. So, I don't know. It's kind of hard to not feel the need to rush just so that I have time to talk about all of this stuff. Here's the Yellow Pages through history. Artist Bob Clark, writer Tom Koch. The Paleolithic Telephone Company classified section. Cemeteries, Shady Acres Memorial Gorge. Achieve lasting fame by letting us bury your bones where future archaeologists will be most likely to find them. 427 Road to Where the Sun Comes Up. Stone Age, 69094. Village Burial Mound and Garbage Dump. 231 Hilly Path. Here's Woolly Mammoth Mart. Enjoy the splendor of warm, hairy, dual-purpose mammoth fur. Wear it as a coat by day. Use it as a rug by night. 222 Field where the sloths hibernate. Pachyderm 94141. Here we have rock groups. Erg's Stone Quarry. Wait, CR add under weapons, primitive. We have weapons advanced and weapons primitive. Erg Stone Quarry, many varieties of large and small rocks for throwing at many varieties of large and small people. We chisel to meet your requirements. 2. Path running downhill. Pliocene 65275. So this is a mad look at doors, and people who are maybe not super familiar with the with Mad Magazine and how it's changed throughout the ages might think, a mad look at. I'm expecting to see those beautiful lines done by Sergio Aragones. Well, too bad for you. Because Sergio Aragones wasn't always the mad look at guy. If you go to madcoversite.com and look up a mad look at, you will see all kinds of names popping up. And here we have George Woodbridge. And if you think there weren't all sorts of names, even I think Dave Berg did a mad look at. George Woodbridge, mad look at. Bob Clark, mad look at. Paul Coker Jr., mad look at. And I really, really, really enjoy seeing the different artists' take on a mad look at. Sergio does all the writing and art himself. This one, art by George Woodbridge, writer Paul Peter Porges. I think even Paul Peter Porges may have done a mad look at as the artist. So let's zoom in on these because, well, it's George Woodbridge. I mean, it's going to be awesome. There are some similarities to Aragones. They're short comics. They're nonverbal. There's no written words, well, except maybe some sound effects, or I guess a Nazi saying Heil. But there's no like conversations. So here you go. Look at, he's painting some part of the Sistine Chapel, I guess, and sending Michelangelo's scaffolding flying across the room. Here we have this. Look at a Roman centurion is riding through and hits his head. He yells at him and says, make an arched doorway. The guy goes through all of this trouble, makes the arched doorway, and boom, drops the keystone right on his noggin. These are, it's so great. I mean, there's obviously so many nice things to say about Sergio's art style, how simple and quick it is. But these are really fun to read when they're drawn by somebody like George Woodbridge. Here's some Jews who are being persecuted by the Russians. They have a bomb. They go and hide under. These Russians scamper through, and then they're trapped. There's a lot of trapped, like being trapped by doors humor, like this one right here with the Egyptians. They put in the sarcophagus, they pull down the door, and then they're trapped inside. Tough luck. Tough luck for those guys. Better luck next time. Better luck in the next life. I don't know that they believed in reincarnation, Egyptians. Here we have Harry North Esquire, an amazing artist, super fun mad artist. When women take over movies completely. Well, I think we found out what happens there, right, Netflix? Anyway, this is kind of fun. It's like a reimagining of this. Obviously, women are not really the punchline in any of these jokes. Usually it's the men who are the punchline. And so look at, he's like talking to Lady Queen Kong, I guess. He gets brought up and he goes, you know what's so incredible? That someone your size has such style and grace. I mean, you move like poetry in motion. And you know something else? Man, I mean, the way you climbed up the side of this building, you are one hell of an athlete. For a female. And then she gets booted. He gets booted off. King Kong would never do that to Fay Ray. I'm just saying, okay? This one was really, really something. Okay, now let's see what you've learned. If you've learned what I've taught you. Me, Tarzan, her girl, you thing. No, but that was close. It's you, Tarzan, her girl, me, James. Me, Tarzana? Oh, Tarzana, I'm sorry. It's really hard to change the names. Her girl, you thing. You don't seem to understand, Tarzana. A thing is an inanimate object. It's not a person. It's something that's used by someone to satisfy his needs. Now, let's try it one more time. You, Tarzana, her girl, and me, thing! And she's going to have her way with him. So, again, it's very lighthearted and sweet jokes at men's expense. Late one fine afternoon on an uptown bus. This is the other thing. Look at it. It's like this optical illusion right there. It's this weird checkerboard thing that's going in and out. I don't know. Hit pause and read this. Here we have Bob Jones as the artist, writer Frank Jacobs, The Gift. I'm going to read through this whole thing because it's really fun. And Bob Jones is a great artist. How many times was he in Mad Magazine? You know what? I'm going to hop over to, what am I going to hop over to? Mad Cover Site. That's what I'm going to hop over to. Let's see. Bob Clark, Bob Jones, let's see. Look at that. Bob Jones has done some great cover art. Not that much. I mean, he was obviously a really healthy amount, great covers, but yeah, not a lot of appearances by Bob Jones. When nature made the elephant, a gift she did bequeath, a trunk which hangs down from the front and picks up things beneath. The whale was blessed with tail and fin for swimming through the seas. The walrus with great folds of skin, providing antifreeze. The polar bear was colored white, the skunk was filled with gases, the hawk was blessed with wondrous sight, without the aid of glasses. Soft silky fur was dealt the seal, the kangaroo a pocket, and to the sleek electric eel a built-in DC socket. And man, as any one can see, with his great gift is blessed, a mind to think up ways that he can kill all of the rest. That's great. I love this. Look at, there's the Exxon Tiger right there. The skunk is the telephone. You got the elephant's foot, the elephant head. Oh, how great. There is no electric eel, though. You forgot to include the electric eel. But there's a cute panda and koala in there. So this is one of those things. I'm going to have to skip this. Mad's ingenious plan for more efficient government. Too wordy. Sorry, guys. You know how I feel about reading. Haven't I done enough reading today? Here we have the Mad, Overrated, Underrated book. Writer Frank Jacobs. Photos by UPI. I'm guessing that was like Getty Images. This is just weird. It's almost like the Godfrey Report, but not as weird as the Godfrey Report than the more modern Mad and the Fundolini pages. It's just deciding what's overrated and underrated, which I wouldn't be surprised if this was some type of thing that they did in like People or Time magazines or something. I don't know. Mork is overrated. Mindy, underrated. Cher is overrated. Tony Tennille is underrated. That, I think, honestly, these two, I would agree. Love is overrated. Like is underrated. I wonder how many appearances Mel Brooks made in Mad Magazine. The Boardwalk is overrated. Tennessee Avenue, underrated, in fact. Lucy is overrated. Linus is underrated. How about this? Home runs are overrated. Triples are underrated. Look at that. What is that? Pete was his name. He got banned from baseball very unfairly. The 7th commandment is overrated. Thou shalt not commit adultery. The 10th commandment is underrated. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Are those different? Anyway, it's just so weird. This is a weird one. It sort of reminds me of like, I don't know. I was going to say like John Caldwell, right? Like John Caldwell will have like ups and downs in his storytelling. Like some are funnier than others, but there's always one that's just totally off the wall. All of these are kind of equal. I guess this is maybe the weirdest one. Electronic calculators are overrated. Abacuses are underrated. Here we have The Lone Spy versus Spy in the Issue. I know you're used to getting 2, but you only get 1 this time. And look at the title page as part of the story. They're really, I feel gypped. Hit pause and read that. I'm not going to read it. Here we have Chips, the Chips thing. And then it's called Chimps. But unfortunately, they didn't include a single chimp in this whole thing, which is just, I don't know, seems like a real missed opportunity to me. Yeah. Then one fine evening in a nice young couple's house. Oh, look, she wants a spoon. She wants to feed herself. Here, dear, take the nice spoonie. Gloop, sploik, splork, splack. Isn't that marvelous? She can eat just like mommy and daddy. Isn't she a big girl? And they eat like babies. All right, now I finally did what I've been talking about doing for a long time. If you don't have listen, the fold-in fan, let's try that again. The fold-in fanatic, Christ, the fold-in fanatic award presented to all those stalwart Mad readers who have carefully and consistently folded in their fold-ins. This, the highest award that Mad can bestow, duly recognizes what you, the faithful fold-in fan, has become. To find out what that is, fold in the award. Now, you guys know I don't fold. I very rarely fold. I did fold in the original fold-in, the very first one. The issue I had wasn't folded, and I went all out and folded it. But I've been talking about, for those instances where it isn't folded in my collection, doing this, cutting a piece of paper so that we can see what it is. Now, if you kind of imagine these together. This one's harder to see. It's a horse. You are a horse's ass. Mad Magazine agrees. Don't fold in the fold in. Sorry, guys. I don't make the rules. I simply enforce them. And then here we have finally the back cover. No title to this cartoon, but Don Martin is the artist. Don Edwing is the writer. Oh, he lost his shorts. He goes to kill a new thing. Jeez. That creeps me out. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, you guys, that is it. Mad Magazine number 211, flipped through just for you. If you can, please hit like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment down below. That's the best way to support this channel. And hey, thank you so much for watching. Toodaloo.